What's up, everybody? Thanks for stopping into this video. There's this distinction in free speech that Republicans and liberals go about using. And it's the distinction between, yes, we have free speech, but in certain private areas, let's say businesses, you can't do whatever you want. Free speech does not apply to your work and you spouting off anything that you want to while you're flipping burgers at McDonald's. You know, you can't just, while you're flipping burgers, then go into a political rant and say, hey, this is just my free speech. And it's like, yeah, but you're at work, so keep working and keep that, at your house or on the internet. So there is a distinction that lies in free speech that, yes, we have free speech, but there's certain contracts that you sign into that limit your free speech while you're at work, let's say. So people use this all the time, and Ben Shapiro uses it in this video we're about to watch. And Ben Shapiro is one of the most disingenuous talking heads that I have ever seen on the internet. So he's going to be asked about Colin Kaepernick and kneeling at the NFL, which is a hot button issue. And the way he goes about talking about free speech is not the way he usually would talk about free speech. So let's start this video and I'll show you what I mean.
That regardless of whether you agree with the act or not, someone taking a knee during the national anthem at the beginning of a football game, I believe that if you don't say, okay, I disagree with the act, I don't think it's the right place, I don't think it's the right, whatever the case may be, however, I agree with it in so much as I would like to protect that individual's freedom of speech. And my question is, I don't hear, well, you certainly, or a lot of anyone on the conservative side or right side, as you would call it, as someone may call it, defending, saying, okay, look, I don't agree with it, but I agree with that person's freedom of speech in that moment, or utilizing that act.
So it depends on the forum.
Before Ben Shapiro speaks, let me tell you that Ben Shapiro would absolutely, let's say Tom Brady or that one Christian guy in the NFL was kneeling because for some cause, like let's say some Christian cause. They were kneeling because America has become so ungodly, and that's why they're kneeling, to try to get Christianity back into American values or something like that. And the NFL had a problem with it and didn't want them to do it. As a matter of fact, Ben Shapiro would be saying, this is ridiculous. It is a matter of free speech. He should be allowed to do that. And the fact that the NFL is a private business would never be brought up. It absolutely just wouldn't, because he agrees with the free speech, right? But the fact that he doesn't agree with Colin Kaepernick's cause and what he's trying to do by kneeling, he's going to bring up the fact that it's a private business and they have the right to do that. And this is the distinction that I'm talking about. If he agrees with it, he would be saying, this is a matter of free speech. And it is a matter of free speech. It's still a matter of free speech, even though the NFL has a right to say they can't do it, because they should be able to, at least I think. So you could still quantify it as a matter of free speech, which Ben Shapiro would if he agreed.
So this is a public university. I have a right to speak here, right? There's a difference between that and, for example, DePaul University. So DePaul University is a private university. Last year, I think it was last year, DePaul invited me to speak, or at least some of the students did. The administration said I couldn't, and when I showed up on campus, they threatened to arrest me. I didn't sue the university because they have a right to do that. I think they're wrong.
So you meant to say that you couldn't sue the university. And I love how he's saying this now. When that was going on and Ben Shapiro wasn't being allowed onto campuses and was being no platformed, he obviously regarded it as an issue of free speech and was saying that these college kids have no semblance of values and don't care about free speech. They're communists through and through, right? That's what he was saying at the time when he wasn't being allowed to use his free speech somewhere because it was a private organization. Now, the exact same thing is happening with Colin Kaepernick, but he goes about saying that it's a private organization, they have the right to, even though when that was happening to him, he wasn't saying that. He was getting his fan base riled up at the fact that they weren't allowing him to speak, and this was an assault on free speech. So depending on the narrative, he will switch between these distinctions in free speech, something that I cannot fucking stand, and it's the mark of someone who is disingenuous all the way through if they cannot be consistent in how they try to go about representing free speech. If he was consistent in how he did that, he would absolutely say that the NFL should allow them to kneel. And really think about what we're saying here. They're taking a knee. It is not some big thing that they're doing. They're not disrupting the game in any way. I know a lot of Americans don't like it, but we also need to kind of keep in mind that football players are like private contractors, right? I mean, it's not that they work specifically for the NFL. They do, but they're like free agents. So what you're allowed to do as a free agent, I think, is a little bit different than if you just worked for the NFL as an employee. But that's kind of beyond the point I'm trying to make here. Let's keep listening.
I think they're foolish, but they have a right to do that. So Colin Kaepernick does not have the right to kneel on the sidelines of a private NFL event. If he wants to kneel in a park, he's more than welcome to do so.
According to who, he doesn't have the right?
Well, he doesn't have the legal right. He can't sue the NFL to force them to...
Oh, so he can't sue the NFL, sir.
All right, so what Ben Shapiro seems to be saying here is that they still are allowed to do it, right? He just can't get the NFL in trouble for actions they take. But it's not like there was anything written up in the NFL guidelines about kneeling. And I looked into this before, and people were actually trying to say that there was some sort of clause in their contract that doesn't allow them to kneel. But as far as when I looked into it, there was no such clause. There was no such agreement. So it's the NFL taking it upon themselves because a lot of football people who watch football don't like it. They're going to try to shut it down. But like I said earlier, if it was something that Ben Shapiro agreed with, he would be protesting against the NFL and sticking up for the rights of the players to express their freedom of speech. I guarantee it. It's the exact same way he had talked about how he was being no-platformed at all these colleges and how this was egregious and how this didn't line up with freedom of speech. Even though he's saying now, when it suits his argument, that they have the right to do that. Well, maybe if you would have been saying that to all your frenzied fans, they would understand that. But you weren't at the time, were you? And I can't really show you right now because I'm on my phone. But just go look. Look at the, type in Ben Shapiro deplatformed and go watch one of his videos. He's not going to bring up over and over again at the fact that they have the right to do it. No, he's going to bring up the fact that they chose not to let him speak there. Kind of like the NFL is choosing not to let the NFL players do it. Actually, I don't know what's going on with the NFL right now and the leaning, but he is a hypocrite.
So that's the distinction that I'm making. When it comes, like, if Colin Kaepernick were to come here, like right here, you know, and like after the event that we haven't organized, he wants to kneel on the stage all day long, that's totally fine. It's a public university. He can do what he wants. So time, place, and manner...
Yeah, but let's say Colin Kaepernick were to actually do that. That's not what Ben Shapiro would be saying. He would not be saying, well, it's Colin Kaepernick's right, even though I don't agree with him. No, he would be saying, Colin Kaepernick is foolish. This is ridiculous. What does he even stand for? He stands for nothing. Absolutely ridiculous that he's out kneeling at a college campus for no reason at all. He would make a video out of it, and he would monetize it, and he would make lots of money by doing that. He's not going to make lots of money by saying, hey guys, no big deal. He has the right. But if it's to guard his views or worldview, then yeah, he will be like that. And that makes him disingenuous.
Restrictions are a thing, and so is private versus public. So I'll defend Colin Kaepernick's right to say whatever the hell he wants in any public...
Yeah, first off, no, you won't. No, you won't. If Colin Kaepernick was doing something and that was his free speech to do so, you would not be saying, well, I defend that. Yeah, right. God, Ben Shapiro is a douchebag.
Public area, so long as he's not violating the rights of private property owners to control their property, because they do have rights. Like, he couldn't come into my living room and just kneel on the floor. Having a right to do something does not make it the appropriate or right thing to do. I don't think that kneeling for the national anthem is either smart politics or the right thing to do, because there are certain things that still have to unify us, like the idea the country is based on good foundations. And if he wanted to kneel...
Why does that have to be a thing in America? I don't have to do anything as an American. And as it stands with Donald Trump in office, I don't have a lot of respect for the nation as of now. I have, during previous administrations, I've been proud to be an American at certain times, but I'm not right now. And whether it's Colin Kaepernick choosing to kneel because he has problems with with police brutality, whether I agree with that or not, whether it's specifically a problem with black people, or maybe we should be caring about police brutality as a whole, I will still protect Colin Kaepernick's right to do that, as I did originally when I said that it's completely fine that these football players express their views on things, even though I may not necessarily agree with it. That's because I'm consistent in the way that I apply free speech, and I don't cherry pick it like someone like Ben Shapiro does, like he cherry picks the Bible and cherry picks arguments and is inconsistent in the way he represents things.
For the national anthem outside a police station, I think that would be a lot more useful.
So Colin Kaepernick outside a police station would be more useful than the NFL, the kneeling during the NFL and getting all that press that he did? I don't think so, Ben, but good try.
For his supposed cause, than, taking millions and millions of dollars of contracts from Nike to pretend to be a social justice warrior. I'm very skeptical of Colin Kaepernick.
As am I very skeptical of Colin Kaepernick, but it wasn't just Colin Kaepernick that was kneeling. And again, what he thinks about Colin Kaepernick doesn't really matter. He would be saying this about anybody who chose to kneel. So it's not just Colin Kaepernick and his Nike endorsements. He would be saying this about any person in the NFL kneeling for a reason he didn't agree with.
I think there are a lot of people who actually care about these issues and have studied the issues and don't wear socks with pictures of cops as pigs on them.
So, in closing, Ben Shapiro is disingenuous and will cherry pick when he chooses to apply this distinction. So, if he is being told not to speak at a college campus and the college campus has a right to do that, he is not going to go about making a video that says, hey, look, I was no platformed. They didn't let me speak, but they have every right to do that. As he did with Colin Kaepernick here. The NFL has a right to do it. They're a private business. Yes, he has free speech, but it doesn't apply while he's at work or while he's playing in the NFL. Maybe you should be consistent in how you apply that distinction. Huh, Ben Shapiro? You little fucking gremlin. Anyways, I'm not sure what channel this is going out on, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a like, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.